What's up everybody, Patrick from B Squared. Today we're going to be doing a track guide on Canadian Tire Motorsports Park Grand Prix track. One of my all-time favorite tracks, super fun, super flowy. Here is a silly picture of me on the podium spraying some Perrier on my friends. Let's get right into it. Coming into turn 1 on the left side of the road, you may need to lift or brake if you got a heavier car, but not using a lot of trail braking because it's a downhill corner and it's sort of unpredictable. So in my case, I'm braking in a straight line. If this cone is here, you can use this as a reference point. But basically, find when the grass transitions into this like patchy, chundery part. Also keep an eye out for these blue Marshall stations. These will help you throughout the track to point your eyes as well as get around safely. Looking through this wall, I'm going to use this red and white curbing as my apex point, and I'm going to open up the wheel as soon as the curbing ends. On the exit curbing here, I'm going to get on top of it if I need to, but I'm going to start to open up the wheel to the right side, getting ready for turn 2. I'm looking again for this blue tent here. I got my braking down in a straight line and I'm turning the wheel at about under the bridge. You want to control your throttle and steering as you go down the hill. I'm actually only trying to use like one motion of the steering wheel for the duration of the corner. So it looks like I'm keeping kind of close to this left-hand side. The grass goes away and back into you as you negotiate the corner. But the main thing is to use one steering input and one committed throttle input so that the car is least likely to spin around. It's a very fast corner, so you're going to have to commit and be smooth with the steering if you want to make it out fast and safe. It's sort of like a late apex here around these 3 cones. Open up slowly, use the whole track, and make sure you get all the way to the left side to prepare for turn 3. I know it's hard to spot it on camera, but this blue rooftop here on this Marshall station is the perfect place to look as you start to enter turn 3. It's an uphill braking zone, so you don't need to brake a lot. I started to turn as soon as I saw this curbing here. Keep close to the curbing on the right and open up the wheel as the curbing ends. Be careful with throttle here. Even in this car, I sometimes got the rear to feel a little bit loose as I exited, so be gentle with the throttle. As you enter from the right side, exiting turn 3, you're now going into turn 4. Look out for this blue rooftop as your reference point. I'm going to use this cone, or if it's not there, I'm just going to use this entire bridge as my reference, slowing down the car in a straight line prior to getting close to this bridge. And then when I approach it, I'm turning the steering wheel in at about 15 to 20 feet before the bridge, sort of doing like a late apex, and I'm using this curbing here as like my apex point. Watch out because this curb is really tall. It's not coming out super clear here on camera, but it is a tall curb and you can potentially damage the front of your car if you ride it, so stay close to it but don't ride on top of it. Going to look up for this blue Marshall station again, and this will allow you to set up on the correct side here on the left going up to turn 5. I'm using this uphill section here as my braking zone, so as soon as the car starts to go uphill, I'm braking from this spot all the way uphill, and it feels amazing. This is one of my favorite corners at GP just because of the braking. As you can see, I'm using this curbing here as an apex point. A lot of people can try to enter from the wide side and ignore this curb and just apex at the next one. I think this car can corner fast enough that I could take it at a tighter radius, so this is what I'm using. Opening up the wheel at the end of that curb. At this point, the car is actually cresting. So from where the car currently is in this spot to this spot here on the curb of 5B, this is actually downhill. So if you can get on throttle even before the 5B curbing, you're going to be going a lot faster exiting turn 5 because you're using the downhill to your advantage. So on this crest, I'm trying to use this downhill section here. Evidently, I don't actually throttle until I get to about the curbing. But either way, take it as a late apex. Keep a lookout again for the blue Marshall stations on your left-hand side. Here's one. There will be another coming up to the middle of the Andretti straight, so there's one right here. Some of the corners on this quote-unquote straightaway are counted, so this upcoming corner is actually turn 8. Here's the last Marshall station right by the bridge. I'm going to be braking in a straight line after the bridge, playing it safe, not going to trail if I don't need to. I'm using the blue rooftop again as a reference, and there's actually a curbing right near here, so if you turn in properly, I think you can use it as one steering angle, getting close to that curb, away from the grass, and then close to this second curb here, where you finally late apex right at the end of the curb, aka where this cone is. When you're negotiating turn 8, make sure you're looking through the corner. So if I'm at this point, I'm staring in the distance over here. This is where I'm keeping my eyes as I'm negotiating this corner. This is critical because if you don't look in the direction you want to go, you're gonna hit the wall. Here in the middle of turn 9, there's a marshal station you're gonna pass by. It's not a heavy braking zone. Make sure to late apex it and just carry enough speed. You don't wanna overslow the car. If you late apex correctly, you're gonna stay on your left-hand side. Again, keep a lookout for the blue tent. Turn 10, you can trail brake and do sort of like a geometric to late apex. I think I'm doing it sort of like a geometric apex here, sort of going in this direction, whereas a late apex would be in this direction. But either way, you want to use the whole track on exit, and then again, you end up on the left side, entering back to turn 1. Want to learn this track even faster? Check out our Applied Mosport data course. It's an online course where we go over data collection, analysis, as well as all of the vehicle dynamics engineering theory to support your learning. Stop wasting your track days on mindless seat time. Check out our course. Link is in the bio.